remarks, the president blasted former President Trump and his supporters, saying they are a threat to democracy. Here's Christina Ruffin.
President Biden took aim at what the White House calls the extreme wing of the Republican Party during a primetime speech at Philadelphia's Independence Hall.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
President Biden says former President Trump's hardline supporters pose a threat to American democracy and asked traditional Republicans to condemn violent rhetoric.
History tells us that blind loyalty to a single leader and a willingness to engage in political violence is fatal to democracy.
Speaking in the president's hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania, House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy said Mr. Biden is trying to distract Americans from other issues like the economy.
Washington and the White House aren't listening. They just don't get it.
What's going on, everyone? This Talks with Kenny here today. We'll be reacting to a Timcast discussion about Biden's speech he did a long time ago. I missed that speech completely because I took a week off social media because I was moving into my house. So I kind of want to give my thoughts and my reactions to the to his speech. I just remember hearing around the social media grapevine that it incited more violence, and I believe it did because it was just hey, the other side, right? Because Biden marketed himself as a unifier. I'll unite the country under me, right? I understand, and I'm a president for just not Democrats, but for everyone. And then look, he did like a whole 180, which I knew he was, lying ass, right? I cursed. I might edit that out, or I might not. Who knows? But he came in and he just started preaching this. He talking to only one side of the country. He only talked to one country, demonizing the other. And Jordan Peterson warned us kind of this polarization that we was going into, and he's only making it worse, in my opinion. But let's get into the video.
I want to jump to the story from the Post-Millennial and get to
we can't finish with Jennifer Lawrence, the poor girl. She never gets any time, Tim.
Yeah, she needs to be the
Come
We got the story from the Post-Millennial. Majority of Americans say Biden's anti-MAGA speech was designed to incite conflict. The poll found that 56.8% of likely general election voters said that Biden's speech represents a dangerous escalation in rhetoric and is designed to incite conflict amongst Americans.
Democrats, in my opinion, I think they're the biggest projectors in history, bro. Like, whatever they're guilty of doing, they just project it onto the Republican side, and the Republicans are just so spineless that they just take it. To me, this is why a lot of mega Republicans are winning these elections, because people are tired of, hey, if only one side is willing to push the envelope to get their agenda through and one side is compromising, eventually we're going to be like, yo, we need some fighters in there, bro. So to balance this stuff out, because it's been going one way for too long. 50 years has been going one way, to the point where now Tim is considered a right-winger. Imagine that. But I digress, right? Because these lefties will be like, oh no, you guys are becoming more right. We're still center leftists. It's just you guys are going way right. This is why you think we're extreme. And then all I have to do is go, hey, did you know in 2008, Barack Obama was against gay marriage? Did you know in 2008 that the Democrats were running on the platform that abortion will be safe, legal, and rare? Now look at 2022. What's going on now? They teaching gender theory in class, critical race theory in class, allegedly. Abortion up to 9 months, right? Isn't that, in your position, got more extreme? Look at the Republicans. What do the Republicans do? Preaching the same thing they've always been preaching. Secure our border. Remove Roe v. Wade because it was based on a false pretense. Courts are not allowed to create bills from the judiciary office, like from the court. That's Congress' job. We got to ratify that, right? The Republican Party has been holding the same positions since 2008. Literally, go to 2008, look at the Republican platform, go to 2022. The only difference is you might be, hey, they're a little bit more, they're more willing to fight for these agendas now because their base is demanding it out of them now. Because if they don't fight, they're out. You see what happened to Liz Cheney? I believe her name. You ain't willing to fight for the Republicans' agenda, the people who really run the party. You're out. And these politicians, if the Republican politicians know if they want to stay in power, they got to start fighting for something now instead of trying to just say no to the Democrats.
The Babylon Bees had their best night ever with their like 30 Biden kicked out of Austrian art school.
Yeah.
Biden issues non-aggression pact with Poland. I genuinely spit out laughing when I saw that headline pop up. It was I had to watch that speech because I did a bunch of radio and TV on it later on that night. And that was just some crazy
Biden comes
stuff.
out and he's like, I'm the president and I hate half this country. And then the next day they're like, why were you talking about Trump supporters that way? He's like, I was not talking about Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Then he comes out and like the policies proposed by these people are a threat. Dude, it is that people fall for this or they lie. It is insane. Pandering to the base is gutting the Democrats. And it's backfiring already. 56.8%, they don't like it. Independent voters, they don't like it. You're not going to win with just getting Democrats. You got to.
Well, and especially when you.
And especially like independents like me, we don't buy into tribal politics. Yes, I'm an independent. Yes, I'm socially conservative, but I'm registered independent because I'm still up in the air. But don't mistake it. I ain't never gonna register as a Democrat. I'm either gonna stay independent or become Republican. I don't know. I might decide by the end of the year. But right now, I'm still doing my research. I'm still trying to shift through and really see if the Republicans are really willing to fight. That's what I want to see from the Republican Party, because I see the Republican Party are like spineless almost. That's why Trump was so popular with. I like Trump. Like he was so popular because I see he was willing to fight for something. I mean, I agree with everything, but at least he was willing to fight for something. And I don't defend people. I defend ideas. Just tell me what the ideas that Trump was supporting, why they're bad. I don't care if you think Trump is bad. We're all flawed here. It's just he's in the public eye and you're not. That's the only difference between you and Trump. All I'm saying is the Democrats are willing to exert power and the Republicans are not. The Republicans are more interested in looking good. Now they're starting to fight because now they got to compete with the mega Republicans, people who are willing to say what they believe and not fold to the media because people don't like them. Because at the end of the day, as a conservative, you must live with the fact that people don't like you regardless. Like, it won't matter. There's 50% of people who's going to like you, and there's going to be 50% of people who hate you.
Few minutes later.
But I digress. Let's continue.
You ran as being the unifier and you became the divider in chief.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what's taken place here. And so we have to understand the fact that what they're looking at, and when you're seeing headlines like this where they're thinking, oh, this is to incite conflict. Well, that's because they thought that the whole January 6th incident was actually good for them politically. And they're trying to, basically utilize that to try and advance them and stop the red wave from coming in. But, look, we have to identify for what it is. I mean, this is literally him calling half of the nation extremist.
You know what that speech reminded me of? Like in especially an 80s or early 90s movie where there's some bad thing happening and finally someone stands up in the high school gym and they give this speech and all the bad guys put their head down and realize they're wrong, and then finally someone courageously starts the slow clap and everyone's like, yes, and justice is served. That speech to me sounds like it was written by a 26-year-old kid who was a poli-sci major who really thinks that if I just lay it out like this, all those Trump supporters are going to sit there at home and say, you know what, guys? I think they're right. I think like it was written by a child.
But they didn't identify. But they never did actually say what it was that we as America First candidates actually, or Americans, are actually about. They didn't identify. No. I mean,
they don't attack ideas. They only attack people. That's the leftist biggest tactic. Like if you see for what it is, like if you don't get wrapped up in trying to defend people, just defend the idea. Because at the end of the day, I'm fallible, you're fallible. Every human that you see, every human that you look up to, your idols, they're all fallible. That's the easiest thing you can do is attack someone's character. That's the easiest thing. Because anyway, you subconsciously as a human, no one else is perfect. So it's easier to attack somebody. But attack the idea though. Why the idea is bad. Then you hear a different thing. They can't point out one policy. What's extreme? Secure your election? When isn't that the smart thing to do? Non-Americans should not vote in an American's political system. Done. America's not a sovereign country. We should secure our borders then. But these Democrats, liberals, they treat America like it's some economic zone. Like it's like a charity. Like we're supposed to take everybody in. We're supposed to be the world's police. This is why I'm so pro-American first candidates. Because I'm like, yo, you can't take care of the world if your house is on fire. Right? How I would look as a father, as a husband, if my house is not in order, but I'm here mowing the neighbor's lawn, I'm taking care of another person's house. That's how it looks to me when our politicians are sending $40 billion, $60 billion to Ukraine. That's how it looks to me. And then they're going to have the Pikachu face when they lose in November. Because right now the Democrats are in power. Right now Biden's trying to bribe people with abortion. Like, abortion will be the top of mind issue. But only 4% of voters are worried about that. The top concern is the economy and inflation. And then non-economics, they're worried about leadership. Who's leading America right now? I'll wait.
Eternity later.
You still haven't given me an answer? Oh, the Democratic Party, of course. So if most Americans are dissatisfied with the current administration's leadership, why would we reward you with more? Delusional people, bro. When I say the Democrats are out of touch, they're out of touch. And the only way they'll realize they're out of touch is when they lose. But I digress. Let's continue.
The people they described was their own followers.
Well, and the thing that cracked me up is that after the speech of calling us all these names, was one of his last lines was how we have to start seeing each other as fellow Americans. And I thought, did you just not listen to the things you...
Bro, like, sorry, I keep pausing it, guys. The Democratic Party, that's one reason why I don't like when they're in power, bro. When they're in power, bro, they do this my way or the highway, and they do everything they can to get their way. Filibusters, right? In 08, though, no, not 08, sorry. In 2012, though, when it was the Republicans that had it, oh, no, we should keep the filibuster. We should keep the filibuster. Now in 2022, the filibuster's in their way. The Republicans are parroting the same talking points. No, you're stopping progress. Yeah, we're stopping you from ramming in what you want because half the country don't agree with what you're doing. And you shouldn't be allowed just because you have majority to just ram in any kind of bill that you want. You have to compromise with the other side because the other side, regardless if you like it or not, represents half of the country. But there's no moderate no longer in the Democratic Party. All the moderates seem to be leaving. Tulsi Gabbard. Come on. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section.
You read off the teleprompter for the last 20 minutes. Like, it really was whoever his speechwriters are, and boy, this White House has struggled with speechwriters, none more than Kamala's, of course. But it really was it was a very immature speech. It sounded like that speech that a kid wants to give to their mom because mom didn't let me. That it was just a childish, immature, petty, petulant speech. It was embarrassing, quite frankly.
Was it written? I didn't see him reading off a prompter or any notes.
There's no way that he rambled on that long without absolutely
not. Did he have like multiple monitors around the room?
A lot of times they have these see-through monitors that are at a distance that you can't see because of the camera angles, and they're looking at the back shots. But he's sitting here. When he's going left to right, it's because there's usually two prompters that are up there that are clear that actually have everything up there. Do you really think Joe Biden could keep a continuous thought for more than 30 seconds where he says vanilla or chocolate ice cream?
Remember the Simpsons episode?
Shaking hands with.
Remember the Simpsons episode where Homer's like, "You have my undivided attention," and then it zooms into his brain, and it's like a turtle playing like Old MacDonald or whatever, like banging on his chest. That's what I imagine with Biden.
If I'd taken this poll here, I would have said that it seemed like the speech was intended to divide and incite, maybe, I don't know if incite conflict, divide because of the red background.
Correct.
Blood red background. You see the wide shot, there's also all this blue, and there's just this little segment, but all the media apparatus that wanted to record it had just pure red background.
Can I just say one
red?
No one's going to do a big wide
But can I just say one thing, though, whether it's Republican or Democrat, one of the things that disgusts me as, prior military and combat veteran, we have to stop utilizing our military for backdrop props. Yes. This is something that just shows absolute disrespect, because the thing that you have to understand is that when you serve in the military, you serve a commander in chief. And we don't think of this as it isn't a political thing for us. And the fact that the left and the right, try and utilize the military as a political backdrop really needs to stop.
I think it's illegal to a campaign with military present. Is that?
Well, I have nothing to say. I agree with everything he said. That I guess they use it because it shows that, oh, look, I'm in charge. Look, who I'm I'm the commander. I'm the guy. I just feel like it's an ego thing. That's part of what it is. But I agree with him. I believe, they should stop using that. I think the Democrats especially, they mistreat the veterans. I forgot there was some soldiers that was there for security, I believe, during the election process when the transfer of power was supposed to happen when Joe Biden was getting inaugurated. They had them like in parking lots. They were being mistreated. And I haven't seen that from the Republicans much. But yes, I do agree with him about using the military as backdrop. Like, nah, I don't think that's necessary, bro. But I digress. Let's continue.
That someone was telling
it's a violation of campaign rules that military and also like even police and fire in their uniform. They're not allowed
but
to.
Not the
in their
president.
Personal capacity.
The president is allowed to. The president and vice president are allowed to campaign. If the military can't do politics.
Yes, but that's why they say this was not a campaign speech. This was a presidential speech. Yeah. Again, deep concern for fossil fuel use. We had to fly to Philadelphia. No fossil fuels to light up Independence Hall. Right? Why couldn't he have given the speech from the Oval? Right? I don't know why. And this is something I've asked before on other shows. Ever since Reagan, really, and maybe a little bit Clinton, presidents don't use the Oval anymore. Right, Ronald Reagan addressed everyone from the Oval on the regular when he gave a speech, and I don't know why, what's changed, but presidents don't speak. Is there a more presidential backdrop than the Resolute desk?
Yeah, I know. Joe Biden had a soundstage built of the Oval Office.
They have that weird room where they do. Why do you need a fake prop?
Well, I think for that one was obvious because it was the back window was a TV screen. And so they could pre-record what they needed to send it out, so they didn't have to worry about Biden.
President Trump did, I would say 90%, unless he was actually on an official delegation or a visit or thing like that. I mean, he did it from either the Rose Garden or he did it from the White House. Or
he liked the East Room very much, and he liked the Rose Garden. But I'm always fascinated that we don't do more things. He did. Obviously, there's always like diplomats, etc. And pressers in the Oval.
But this was for theatrics. That's what this is for the Biden administration. It's about political rhetoric, theatrics, and trying to assuage every other American from looking at what's really going on in America.
Yeah, and this was obviously produced. There are advanced teams that put these together. Josh, if you're still watching, he paid for most of them, right? I mean, I know people who do this for a living.
Maybe Jennifer Lawrence did this on her part time.
Well, someone had to decide this is the backdrop. Imagine if Independence Hall was just lit up bright white and just light. And he gave out and he said, the Constitution was written here and we are one America. And I know we have a lot of division.
What do you guys think? You think politics is starting to become like a theater? Like everyone's just playing this drama, everyone's just acting, and they're just using whatever messaging they can because they believe that they have this I believe the Democrats have this perception of their voters, because at the end of the day, my take is always that I believe the Democratic voters are the least informed voters just because they have more younger voters. And who tends to be less experienced, less knowledgeable about politics is younger people, not older people. And older people tend to be Republican, right? Because they're more educated in the political system, right? And that comes with wisdom, right? Because you can't, like what road to hell is led with good intentions, right? Especially if the good intentions don't have any wisdom. Wisdom teaches you that if you raise the minimum wage, employers will react to the minimum wage by lowering work hours, firing half your workforce to make up for the increase in costs, right? Like you start knowing it by experience, right? A theory sounds good, but then when you test it out in reality, you find out it has a negative result, and you get that through life experience. So, hey, that's my argument why I believe Democratic voters tend to be like least educated on political matters. That's my take. But I digress. Let's continue.
Division, but we can come together and stop the division, and I want to hear from you. He could have given a speech that even his greatest detractors would say, I hate the guy, but you know what? I can't disagree with that speech. Who orchestrated this to say, like, this is the backdrop, this is the rhetoric, this is the tone, this is the clenched fists?
But according to the left, though, they said that Biden has been too soft and too polite and too nice. And he's, again, to quote something that Tim talked about earlier, which is that this is pandering to the left. This is continuing to try and go ahead and buy into this rhetoric that this is somehow going to prevent a red wave. And
yeah, to me, it ain't going to prevent anything. You're going to make it even worse. Because now people in the middle like me are going to look at you and be like, oh, y'all going off the wall. Y'all off the wall. Go the other side. Like, yo, that's what's going on. And these people who keep claiming that the Democrat Party hasn't become far left, you're delusional as heck. Most people won't agree with you. Majority of Americans only believe in abortion near the first trimester, and that's the middle. That's the true middle of the issue. Anything past the first trimester, you're far left. You're in the far. That's an extremist position. But the left out here, what they do best: redefine words, redefine positions, redefine the political Overton window, and they make you seem like you're the crazy one. But hey, let me know in the comment section what you guys think.
Actually, if he would have gone with the idea that you had, that would have probably have actually swayed more NPAs to the left than it would have actually pushed them to the right. So
independents 2-1. That's if you are running his campaign right now, that is,
he could have came out and
that keeps you up at night. The way Jennifer Lawrence has Tucker Carlson nightmares, independent voters are your nightmare.
I think if he had come out, well, people disagree. If he had come out and he pardoned January 6th supporters, the left would be forced to agree with him.
You laugh, but that's actually not. That's actually a great idea.
The idea of him doing it, I love the idea. It should have happened a long time ago.
If you wanted to talk about being a unifier, and again, stop trying to look at the political imprisonment of these individuals like Jeremy Brown, who's in Pinellas County Jail, who still has no charges levied against him, former Special Forces, former Ranger, who literally has no charges levied against him and never entered the Capitol, but has been in prison this entire time. I mean, these are the types of people that we need to be fighting for.
I could say this without.
Yeah, that should not be right. Like when Bill and Men was going on and they were rioting, destroying property, hurting people, beating people, right? Fighting, causing all kinds of mayhem in the streets. The Democrats are out here arm over fist, bailing them out of jail, paying for their bail. But then the right do, God forbid, one thing wrong and they gotta go to jail? That's crazy. If what he says is true, that shouldn't be happening in our political system. But this, and imagine they mentioned this in September 6th. Now look at it. This is before Trump got raided. You see a pattern here. The Democrats are willing to use governmental power to prosecute their opposition, their opponents, under whatever pretext they need. They do anything to win. That's my take. They'll do anything to win. Now I don't have proof of that, but I can go by their actions. Hey, like you find anything, even if something's not prosecutable, if it's a sliver of a chance they can prosecute you on it, they'll do it. Russia, remember that? And then what they found out to be false. But everyone and their mama in social media was like, oh yeah, Trump is going to get impeached. Trump is going to get prosecuted. Trump is going to go to jail. Wishing it to be true so bad. And what happened? No evidence, nothing. But then you levy the same charges against Hillary Clinton, silence, selective justice. That's what it seems like to me. But like I said, the left don't have no principles. They're not held accountable to anything objectively. It's however they feel subjectively. And if you're only accountable to yourself, you could write the terms and conditions at any time you want. And social media companies do it all the time. They ban you and then they rewrite their terms of service. They're always changing it. It's never something static and hey, this is what we're gonna do, and this is we hold ourselves accountable to that. Nah, you ban something. Oh, it don't quite fit our current terms of service. Oh, change it so it does, and then you retroactively ban you. Craziness. But I digress. Let's continue.
Without hesitation, if Joe Biden came out and pardoned all the people from January 6th, and he called for an end to the hearings and said, we have to move past it, he would guarantee his reelection in 2024.
When you pardon someone, is it a general pardon? Like I pardon you for every crime you've ever committed?
No, just for the one specific, but that is it.
So
right?
some
like there's not just expunged from the record. You know, at any level of the judiciary, no one can bring up charges. One can. That's it. It is done.
They would lose the far
done.
left and the hard left.
They would.
The moderates they'd gain. The moderates would be like the more establishment crony Democrat types would be like, aren't we so noble and compassionate,
magnanimous?
Yep.
Yeah, and then the far left would be like, we just want a revolution, and you're hurting that by doing this.
And CNN would run to the Mitt Romneys of the world and get them to admit what a great guy he is, and like see even Republicans admit that he is a great, and it would guarantee his reelection if he really wanted to win.
It would have actually have gone towards his claim. I don't think it would guarantee
his reelection, though.
No, it wouldn't.
Economy, economics, energy, rolling blackouts. I don't know about that.
That is true.
I think
no amount of looking good. I'm so righteous. I'm so moral. I'm so good. I'm so perfect. Look at me. I'm such a good guy. But what you doing though? This is why I don't focus on character. I focus on ideas, your actions, and your results. That's it. Your actions tell me, hey, what you're planning. Because at the end of the day, you can lie. Anyone can lie. Anyone can claim they're a millionaire. But then when I look at I observe you by your actions, you can't fake being a millionaire. Maybe for a day, maybe for a week, maybe for a year. But eventually it's going to catch up to you if you're really not what you say you claim to be. This is why I think you can only really judge somebody based on their results. And people had a lot of things about Joe Biden. He's been a career politician, I think, all his life, all his working life. You have a whole rap sheet. Someone doesn't change just like that. Oh, I'm a different man now. Come on. 2008 was when he said, oh, you never seen a black man that articulate, that clean cut. He said that in 2008 about his own president. Come on. And people said that was racist, but then when you find out Joe Biden, oh no, it was different. That's when they want to give context, because Democrats care about character more than they care about the idea. And Republicans care more about the idea than the character. I don't care who the person is. He's right. 2 + 2 is 4. Democrats worry about who said that was 4. Oh, Barack Obama said it was 4? Yes, it's true. Trump can say the same thing. No, that's racist. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me. I'm waiting. Tell me I'm lying. I digress. Let's go.
I think we're just talking about what would have potentially have been a lot better, which anything, a rerun of The Simpsons would have been better than this right here.
It's like the military, the Marines come out, they play the song, and then they wheel out a TV and just put a TV up, and it plays an episode of The Simpsons. And
that would have probably had a better rating than this.
This felt like...
Do you approve of the rerun of The Simpsons Biden played? Actually, well,
70%.
Yeah, we all really enjoyed it.
They were like anticipating a fall of the economy's crumbling, as in the, okay, we're going to need to blame somebody in the future, so let's plant the seeds now. They've done the MAGA stuff as the seeds are planted. Now, if shit really hits the fan, we got a villain that we can pin it on. It's very Nazi Germany, what they do with the Jews. That's what it felt like to me.
It is. And when you have 40-year high record inflation, when you have 40-year high, 30-year high energy prices, when you have...
You're threatening to disarm Americans.
You are literally in a recession, regardless of how we determine the new definition is. We are literally in a recession. When you look at all the economic indicators of the suffering the American families and blue collar and working class Americans are feeling, there is no reason why this guy should be in office. So what do? You find a scapegoat, and if it was the Jews in Nazi Germany, and now it's the MAGA. You're absolutely right, because I can't run on the fact that oil prices and energy prices and food prices are at record high, and talking about the upcoming depression, they're going to get much worse because winter hasn't even kicked in yet. We haven't even harvested the wheat yet.
Thanks for.
They're gonna get slaughtered, bro. The Democrats have to get slaughtered. To me, I'll lose all hope in America if the Democrats somehow stay in power, bro. It's going to be like, yo, look at all the facts that guy just laid out there. We're in a recession. I've been saying we was in a recession. Even when the first numbers came out, I said, hey, 2 consecutive things. That's all I need. I didn't care about all this. Oh, I don't know. I don't care how many experts you come and bring. Oh, this is technically not a recession. No, I'm going by the the traditional definition of recession, because that is more accurate than whatever new BS you're trying to sell me now. And look what we have here. The economy still is doing worse, right? People are starting to get the inklings that, we might be going into job losses. Massive layoffs might be happening. I think it's already happening, especially in the tech field. There's already massive layoffs that's going on already. There's already companies already filing for bankruptcy already. Next year, it's a slow boil. People going to realize next year that we were in a recession. Because the recession, I told you, the economy is always, and in a recession, is always best in the beginning. And over time, it gets progressively worse. But let me guys know what you think about it in the comment section. Or agree, disagree. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click the ring the bell and the notification so you can get notified for all my videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.